What's up, guys? Chris Flores here, FLO Fitness, Next Generation, and welcome to this week's Chalk Talk. This week's talk is going to get pretty deep, and I hope no one gets offended by it, but it has to be said. I put a post up on Facebook the other day about men not having principles, and it got like 50-something comments, and people went crazy on it. So I want to describe what I was talking about with that post and what kind of drove me to say it and put it up. The first thing we came up with today, for your viewing pleasure, YPPYP. And what that means is your principles precede your process. Okay? Again, your principles precede your process. So what are your principles? You have to decide what your core values and what you truly believe in. Okay, so let's start off by defining what principles are. Now, our definition today is principles are what you do when no one is watching. So what are you doing when the camera is off? What are you doing when the crowd is gone? What are you doing when all the clients are out of their place? What's going through your mind? What are you doing when you're at home? What principles are you living by? Now, those beliefs are your foundation. Okay, if you don't have your foundation, then you get lost in the process. Too many people are skipping the principle part and going right to the process. Okay, so they're thinking about, all right, for example, let's take fitness and you owning a studio. The first thing to think about is how can I make money? What can I do to make money? What can I set up? What systems can I use? That's all good stuff and that's all great information. But if you don't have basic values and principles on how you're going to treat your people, or first of all, what your purpose is for opening your facility. Is it just to make money, or are you trying to do something to change people's lives? Do you have something to offer that's different than someone else? So some we put up here that are big ones that I see a lot of companies are lacking, a lot of people are lacking. First and foremost is loyalty. All right, companies are just chopping people at the head because they want to make more money. So it's like, all right, this person, I have to pay them X, Y, Z amount of money. Even though they're a loyal person and they have a ton of respect and integrity and everything else, I'm still going to get rid of them because at the end of the day, I'm trying to make profit. So if you're chopping off people at the head just to make your profit, you're lacking in the principle of loyalty. All right, another principle, respect. Okay, you want to treat people the way you want to be treated. And I think that's the easiest way to define respect for someone. So many people are lacking respect and they're ripping people off and treating them like trash just to make that quick buck. Again, humility is a big one. Okay, no one is above anybody else. I don't care if you're the #1 salesperson for whatever, or if you're the #1 book sales, or you're the #1, whatever the case is, no one is above anybody. At the end of the day, we're really all the same. But some people have different opportunities that may be presented to them, and they get to certain places in life, and that's all well and good. But they still have to have some humility when they get to those levels. All right, the last one's integrity, which is a whole topic in and of itself. But a lot of people just lack integrity, and it's just one thing you're seeing in any industry. Now, before we go any further, I do want to mention that there's nothing wrong with money. Obviously, you're opening a business, you're doing something, you have to sustain some kind of way of life, and you have to make money some way. So I'm not knocking people who want to make money, so please don't take it as that. So with that being said, again, I'm not knocking anyone who wants to make a lot of money. Obviously, everyone's in it for a reason, for a purpose. The one thing I will say is that if that's your only measure of success, if you're only measuring your success by the amount of profit you're bringing in, then you have some issues. And I'm just going to call a spade, it is what it is. If that's your only measure of success, not to say that your clients got great results, not to say that you're the best training facility in your certain area or you're the best at what you do. If you're only measuring it by income and you're not worried about your outcome, then there's some kind of issues probably with your core values and your principles. My advice to people out there who are kind of lost and stuck within the process and don't know what they're really getting themselves into, don't know what they're doing, go home, sit down, sit in a dark room by yourself and write down your principles. Write down what you believe in, what you will not let go of. What are the things that no matter what happens in your life, you're always going to have those values, those principles, those code of ethics. Write that stuff down and then you live by those principles. Then after you decide that, you see if your process is going against those or going with them. If your process is going against what you truly believe in, then obviously you're not going to be happy. There's a lot of people out there who are making tons and tons of money, and there's some of the most miserable people you'll ever meet because the process doesn't add up to their principles. So my advice to you, YPPYP, your principles precede your process. First define your principles, then decide your process. Chris Flores, FLO Fitness, Next Generation, Grow with the Flow. See you guys next week for more Chalk Talk.